Cool. Press. Okay. Probably get like a couple people in here. Got a couple minutes. I got a break. What's going on, Caden? How's it going? I'm trying to do more lives so I can help people with certain questions that they have, so I can answer a lot of people at once. I got a couple minutes before I gotta be off, so I just wanted to I just finished breakfast. I'm the chef of the house, but yeah, man. What's going on, Paul? How you guys doing? Yeah, I mean, I'm just chilling right now. I got some things I gotta take care of in like 20 minutes or so. So I just wanted to pop on and say what's up, answer some questions if you guys have any. Got my handy notepad here as well. What's going on with you? What are you up to today? You guys doing anything fun? Should probably play some. Yo, what's good, people? What's good? I'm trying to do more lives because I know you guys have a lot of questions, and I hope I can help answer. You guys, oh dang, got his first JV game. Let's go. That's cool, man. You excited? You nervous? How you feeling? He's going live. He's on the live right at the field. I love it. Cool. Caden, how's your practice going? Are you I guess you're taking a break, or you got your phone on the field with you? I got it. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Yeah. That's I don't miss the like grind of school and then practice right after. I like just going right into practice and then be done for the day. Summer was like the most fun time because you'd usually just have practice and that was it. There was nothing else. There was nothing else that you would need to do throughout the day. But how's everyone? You guys have already played a couple games or what? I think you guys are. Some people at least are, two games in, 3 games in already. If so, what are your stats looking like? How are you feeling? How's the body? You feel ready to go? All right. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for the question, Kevin. Best workout for a kicker looking to gain muscle in the off season. Peace, Caden. Have fun. Oh no, that's not fun losing. So, best workouts. I love pool workouts. I mean, there was when I was all in on my training, the noticeable difference in my power happened when I spent a ton of time in the pool. I was part fish after a while, and the workouts that I would do were focused on like hip explosion movements, like high knees in the waters. I would practice the kicking motion and just like any fast twitch motion I would do. It's like almost waterboarding, but it's like jump squats in the pool. So you'd go all the way down like below the water and, you know, try to jump out as fast as you can, or jump up as high as you can, I'll say. And doing that, doing a round of there and back, high knees, you know, doing maybe 3 sets of that. Really spending a ton of time in the water helped me. It was a noticeable difference. And then outside of that, you know, your basic stadium runs would be helpful. Like a lot of the plyometrics that people do, where it's all mainly body weight, and then maybe you add a couple pounds to your movement. That's fine. But I would always say if you have like ankle weights, leg weights, anything that can add resistance to the movement that you would do, resistance bands, getting in a pool. I my first place to go when people ask that is just adding resistance to the movement that you already do, and then just as you get stronger, you just add a little bit more weight, but you would focus more on being able to do the rep in full without compromising form. So like if you did a no step, you would be able to do the entire rep without compromising form. And then as you get stronger, you just add a little bit more weight to where you can still be explosive with it, but it has a resistance. And then you can do, you know, hang cleans, power cleans, things of that nature. Kettlebell swings are great too. Sprints are awesome. I mean, there's really like not one set answer, but I think the easiest one is just focusing on ways to, like I said, add resistance to the movement that you already do. And I'm sure that you do that, but I think that's the best way to make it happen. I wouldn't really focus on the muscle side of it. You know, I was never like, I guess you would consider a big kicker. I was decently sized for my you know, position, but I was always really focused on developing my power through like kicking itself. So yeah, I mean, it's important to do cleans and snatches and things of that nature. It's a little tougher when you're younger because a lot of guys want to throw on like the heaviest weight you possibly can. And when you do that, you start to, like I said, compromise form. And that's a pretty advanced movement, to be honest. I didn't even know what a hang clean was until I got to junior college. I was like already 18 or 19. But obviously the strength training is progressing pretty quickly now. Yeah, but yeah, that's a good way to add some strength and power to your kicks. I mean, that was a big part of what I did. Is a lot of skaters. I mean, that's what I call them. I don't know if there's a formal name for it, but it's where you stand and jump side to side. So you're standing, you know, let's say you stand on the 5-yard line facing the sideline. You basically are jumping at least a yard each way. That would be awesome. And then, you know, if you get stronger, you can bump that up to like 1.25 yards, 1.5 yards, 2 yards. That would be, you know, pretty wild to do that and just be able to be explosive laterally too, because a lot of your muscles come from your hips, and that's where all of your power is going to come from. So if you're able to strengthen those muscles by doing things like skaters, things like sprints, that's really going to, you know, bring you a lot of benefit. So stadium runs are really, really helpful, really valuable. It's like it helps in a multitude of ways. It'll get you stronger. It'll get you in better shape. It'll make you very explosive, especially if you're skipping a step. I always did too. I'm a 2-step stair guy. Anytime I walk upstairs anywhere, I do the 2-step. I'm an overachiever, one might say, but I think it helps me and athletes in general just focus on like how you can be more athletic. So that's how I would approach the strength side of it, and I'm hoping that helps in some way. But yeah, let me know what other questions you guys have. Cool. But yeah, good stuff, guys. I'm new to this live game, live world, so I'm trying to get more of this kind of content out there where I can help answer like multiple people at once, because I can only make so many videos where it's like there's no live communication. I feel like this is a much better way to communicate with people and really get information across pretty quickly. in real time, versus being like, oh, I gotta make this video and, it's gonna come out in a couple days or a couple weeks. So by doing that, let me know if you guys like this kind of style, because I want to do more things that you guys find value in, and I think I can just ramble for an hour on lives. So I think this is a format that I can get behind, and I think it can help much more people much more rapidly. So okay, I struggle with wrapping the ball really badly on kickoffs, but I'm pretty good with field goals. I think it's because I'm only 5'3", which makes me have the ball pretty far forward in my swing. I've met some kickers that are not tall at all, like Jason Myers. I mean, he's not like 4'5", but he's smaller than me. I think he's like 5'9", 5'10". I met him a few times. I mean, he's in the NFL. He's like 5'10". So the leg speed is always going to be your biggest obstacle when it comes to kicking. I don't think it really comes down to anything other than just the ability to have a fast leg and have good contact. If you have those two things, you're in a good spot to do perfectly fine in kicking, because you don't have any other major obstacles that you have to deal with. You don't have to block a 300-pound lineman or whatever they're at now, 350. So I wouldn't say that the height is the issue. It's mainly just the contact itself. So in terms of your kickoffs, I think it's more of a psychology shift than if you're struggling with kickoffs but fine with field goals, you're farther back, so you feel like you have to do more to your swing to like compensate for the distance that you're making up. I might drop. I'm trying to get this thing settled or not so awkwardly shaped. Okay, so I would say your steps, you might not be confident in your steps first. Like you're likely reaching or not comfortable enough in them. So I would say either redo your steps. Like I would try to find a little bit more of a routine that you can get behind, or some kind of system step pattern that you like, one, or just do it enough times to get the feeling of it. That's first. So like tempo is going to be a big part of kickoff specifically. So when it comes to wrapping on the ball, my initial thought, I don't know what your steps are, but it could either be you're coming in too narrow to where you're too close to the ball, to where you're not getting enough distance between you and the ball. Your plant width is too close, so that your normal contact is around the ball. That's one. You could be lifting your foot as soon as you make contact. So that could be a contact drill where all you do is stay right next to the ball and you just hurdle up and through to try to, get contact that way, and just keeping everything as simple and slow down as possible so that you can refine your technique. Or you're too wide and you're coming in too sharp and you're not transferring to the plant. You're going more to the ball. You're hitting at the ball and you're swiping around it. There's a couple different ways that the reasons that you could be wrapping around. I dealt with it. I've never been a great speaker. You just see how many times I have to edit some of those YouTube videos. But I would say the biggest area that I had to work on too is just, it wasn't the plan. It wasn't anything other than just simply keeping my foot locked down after I made contact. I think it's the same way with you, Sam, is after you hit the ball, or even before, making sure that your foot is locked down so that you have a locked ankle prior to you hitting it, right? Because you want to start, at least for the guys I teach, you want to start in the exact same position that you're going to end as far as your foot positioning, because if you start it with like an open foot, it's going to be hard to play catch up by the time that you hit the ball, and it's a little bit of a wonky form if you have this open foot coming in to the backswing. So if you could go immediately to the flex foot and just from the beginning have it there, and then you just make contact. But then after you make contact, driving through it and keeping that foot preserved, that foot angle preserved a little bit longer, that would be great. And on top of that, making sure that you're hitting the right part of the ball, because a lot of guys might hit it on the outside of the ball, which is also a challenge, right? So could be the contact, it could be the leg swing. So there's a couple things that I would address or look at just a little bit deeper in terms of what you're doing to give yourself that consistent like contact that you're looking for. But yeah, aiming more towards the inside panel and then driving through. I assume you're a right-footed kicker. If you're not, if you're lefty, then that inside panel, the right one. So whatever foot you kick with, aiming through that inside panel and driving through the front opposite corner is how it's easiest to think of. There's a lot of like advanced things that we can touch on in a bit. Hopefully that makes sense. So, season hasn't started yet, but the coach is moving the kickers back and forth from first squad to second if you miss a practice kick. Thoughts? They are putting you in a high-ish pressure situation to where they want you to get comfortable with something on the line. Like, they want you to feel like something's always on the line, which it is. Every single kick matters. You always want to go 1-for-1. So I don't think it's a bad thing to have competition. I think it's essential in athletics. So I would think that's okay. It's just, unless they're playing favorites, then that's different. But if you are consistently performing and you're making your kicks and you're doing it much more than the other kicker, it's like there's no issue. But if it's a matter of you miss one kick, the other kicker missed 4, and they're still in first team, over the course of a week, then there's issues at that point. But I wouldn't, think about it too. I wouldn't dig too deep into it. It's just the coaches are trying to build a competitive nature or competitive environment within the athletes that are playing. But yeah, good question. Good stuff, guys. I appreciate all the feedback. What are some other things that I can help answer? Because I'm trying to do these more often. So I'm always taking ideas or wanting to help answer anything else that you guys are curious about. Okay. Yep, no problem, Paul. Let me see. What are some other things you guys are curious about? I've got a couple minutes. I've probably got like 2 or 3 minutes to go, and then I'll have to. I might do this later today. We'll see. I don't know how Cade York's doing. I haven't really been paying too much attention so far this year in terms of kickers and their performance overall. I try to. I'm quite busy with like a lot of things I'm working on. I feel bad because I definitely want to be more on top of it, but I'm curious what he's going through or what he did. So even when I get solid contact, I really struggle with power. Could you make a video in the future about how to analyze ball flight? Of course. So that's a really good way to know what you need to work on if your ball flight is off, even by a little bit. So for years, I was struggling with, similarly to you, with wrapping around the ball and like understanding what was going on, which is like I mentioned earlier, it's a couple things. It's either you're raising your foot after contact or even before, or it just, in simple terms, the reason that it's happening is it's hitting multiple parts of your foot. So it's hitting like the toe of your foot first, and then the ball of your foot, or the big bone, the metatarsal on your foot, and it's hitting 2 different places, so it's coming off in that way. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the times there's certain kicking motions that lead to certain results. So helicopter kicks, where the ball is spinning more sideways, it's usually around the fact that you hit around the ball, but not too far to where it hooked. It's like you hit it, but it went flat. You typically hit it at like you hit on more in the center, but like around, so it came out more flat. Is usually what that comes out to. It's hard to show it without having a ball, but yeah, I can do a video around that. That's no problem. That's pretty straightforward. But I do think that would be very valuable because a lot of people struggle with that. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know what to look for whenever they kick. They just hit field goals and like whatever happens. But you're kicking foot. So what I mean is if you're hitting around the outside of the ball, but you're hitting more like the dead center, that's typically going to lead to either a heavy hook or like a helicopter style kick, or you're, flicking your foot up, like usually, or if not every time, the helicopter style, it means that you're hitting more in the center, but around the outside, and you're hitting it more flat. So it's going to come out low and helicopter. So usually make a video for people who go to kicker from active facility, no leg strength or soccer background. So interesting thoughts. I can try that. I will try to think of how I would make a video on that. I'm going to answer this one and then I'm going to go. I got to go in like a minute, but from no background at all, I mean, in a way that's helpful because you're starting from zero, which is beginner mindset. You have nothing to go off of. So if all you're learning, assuming that you're watching, no shameless plug, but like my channel or other coaches, you're learning ideally good material so that you don't have to reconfigure the way that you thought about kicking or like what you originally do. You don't have as many bad habits because you don't have any like habits period in terms of kicking. So if we're building off of that, technique wise, it'll take some time, but I think it's a pretty straightforward process, but of course it's a delicate one because it's going to take a little bit longer. But I've seen most guys that have no kicking background do very well very quickly because they don't have any other knowledge of how to kick, period. So hopefully that helps. I do need to go, but I appreciate the questions, guys. If you have any other things that you're curious about, hit me up on social media, comment on my videos. Happy to help. Send me an email, Telegram, carrier pigeon, all that fun stuff. But appreciate it. You guys take care.